Hello, 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 and welcome to Science. I hope you had a wonderful lunch. Outdoor Solutions Part 1 today. We're going to be taking things outside. Well, not we, because I think the walk outside wouldn't be the most interesting thing if I were just up and leave the room. So, I don't even think the Wi-Fi will get all the way out there. So, I've worked around it. But we are going to be going outdoors, and I encourage you at home, okay, to take a little trip outdoors, front yard, backyard, courtyard, somewhere close, where you can stay safe, etc., etc. And we're going to be thinking about what are some of the things outside that we could potentially make mixtures or even solutions out of. Here's what you're going to need: science notebook, pen or a pencil. If you're going to be taking part in this investigation at home, you do not have to. Okay, I'm going to be doing some sampling, and we're going to be doing some observing of everything I'm doing in here. So if you don't have access to all the materials you need to do this investigation on your own, that's fine. But if you would like to follow along with your own samples of things in your immediate outdoor vicinity, you certainly can. You're going to need empty water bottles or cups. I think like empty water bottles work great, like disposable water bottles if you have at home, because you can put the cap on and shake them. It's a little easier than trying to stir our mixtures. And then I also put a measuring cup there. One of the, trying to be as accurate as possible, I'm going to actually be using our syringe and our scale and things of that nature to really try and keep things as controlled as possible, to put the same volume of water in every mixture and to see, be able to weigh the mass of all of our samples. If you don't have like a scale or a measuring cup at home, that's fine too. Just grab some stuff, mix it with some water, make some observations, okay? And then our ICANs are down here. I can observe a scientific phenomenon, and I can design an investigation to see which outdoor substances create a solution when mixed with water. So here's our focus question. What solutions can be made from outdoor substances? Before we do that, let us review what a mixture and a solution are. If we look at the word wall over here, we can see a mixture is just two or more materials mixed together, right? I take, a cup of rice, a cup of pinto beans, a cup of, I take some thyme and some oregano and some other spices, right? Now I'm starting to make dinner, but I'm also really making a mixture, right? I take cup of rice, cup of pinto beans, I put them in the same bowl. I've made a mixture of rice and pinto beans. Is that a solution? No, because I can separate out that rice and that pinto beans back into 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of pinto beans, right? I could use a screen or a sifter or a colander or even some sort of filter that, lets one thing of a certain size go through and one thing of a certain size not, right? Soup is a mixture, right? It's just a bunch of stuff in some liquid. Okay, the noodles don't dissolve when you put noodles in water, for instance, right? We've got a cup of noodles as an example. Okay, lots of stuff in a cup, you mix with water, and then you eat it, right? That's a mixture. A solution's a little different, and it says so right there. A mixture containing a solute and a solvent, right? Solute is the thing that is dissolving. A solvent is the thing that it dissolves into. Okay, the solute dissolves into the solvent. The solution appears translucent or appears clear, and the solute cannot be filtered out. Okay, if we put our saltwater solution through a filter, the filter's not going to catch any of that salt. Okay, because our grains are so small, our particles are so small that they've incorporated with the solvent. Can we separate out the salt again? Yes, with evaporation, which we've done a few times. You've seen those videos on the channel. But it can't be separated out with a filter or a screen or a sifter or anything like that. Okay, so that's going to be our clue as, is this a solution or not? What we're going to do now is we're going to go outside. We're outside, we're looking around, we're trying to find out what substances can I put in, can I put it in leaves? Can I put it in sticks? Can I put it in dirt? The key with this, and it's on the, go this way, the first kind of step of our procedure here, if you're following along, to collect samples of our outdoor substances, what you want to try to do is you want to try and make sure there's a kind of a pure sample where you're just getting one substance, right? So don't just like grab a handful of brush from the bushes and call it a day, right? If you've got grass, for instance, right, just try and grab that one kind of grass as a sample. If you're looking for soil, right, see if you can't find some, fresher soil that, maybe you were doing some gardening out in your backyard and you've got like a bag of like store-bought soil, right? Use that because it's just store-bought soil in there, and you can kind of identify that as one entity, versus like it's got some dirt and some sticks and some rocks and some worms in it. Don't put anything living, no living things, no living substances in our solutions today, because we're going to shake them up, and that's not nice. You wouldn't want to be put in a water bottle and shook up with some water, okay? So don't do it to anything living. And then we're going to bring them back inside, and we're going to mix them with water. Now, I had this plan where I was going to like smash cut to me in the garden collecting substances, and then smash cut back to me here with my substances. But that would require like live video and then to pre-recorded video back to live, or like teleportation, which I can't do yet. So what I've done is I went ahead of time and I got some samples. So I got samples of 4. Nope. Thought I put it back there, but I didn't. I got some samples of 4 different things. First, I got some grass. There they are inside my vials. Okay. Lots of blades of grass, and you notice it's just the grass. I didn't like put in like dirt, or I didn't even grab any roots. I just trimmed the tops of some blades of grass, which if you were in my class in 1st grade, you know that grass will grow back just fine if you trim the tops. I got some kale. Okay. Even though our garden hasn't been tended to for 4 years, there's still some kale plants growing out there with some good kale out there. So I grabbed a bunch of kale. Grabbed a flower from the vines over by the sport court out there and broke it up into little pieces so it would fit in the vial. Okay. And I got some wood. The tree stumps in the garden are they're starting to break down a little bit because they're getting old. And so I grabbed a bunch of wood, broke it up. It's very easy to break up. I have some more here that I didn't put in the cup. As you can see, it's like, at this point, it's very soft, but I can just kind of like break it apart with one hand there. Okay. I just got wood shavings all over my computer. So, question in the chat, should we make a chart? Don't worry about the chart yet. Okay, we're not actually going to collect any data today. This is a setup lesson where we're setting up our experiment and showing you how to do it. So anytime between now and Friday, you can find some time, go, out in the yard, collect some things. Okay, if you want to follow along with the experiment, but you don't have 4 water bottles in front of you, like, you've got a couple of days to collect some water bottles or collect some containers to put your investigation in. Okay, on Friday is when we're going to be collecting our data. Then what we're going to do is let me grab my water and my syringe. Remember, if you don't have any sort of measuring device at home, that's okay. What I'm going to do, because these, I believe, are 50 milliliter vials, and I already have stuff in there, so a full 50 milliliters of water won't fit in there. I'm going to go with 30 milliliters of water. 30 mils. You can see right there on the line. And then I'm going to put 30 milliliters of water into each vial. And you can do this at home on your own time if you watch the replay of the lesson. There we go. Actually, that's a lot. It's because the vial's a lot wider. We can go the full 50. Good. There we go. I was afraid these vials were not as large, but I severely underestimated the volume. Okay, so now I've got the full 50 milliliters of water. We'll get there. Don't worry, Ava. And then I'm just going to give it a shake. The nice thing about doing this early is I'm just going to let these mixtures sit there for between now and Friday. And then we can figure out we can be able to see kind of how they incorporate there too, because it might not do it all the way because these are much bigger pieces. But we can see here, it's already starting to like mix up and disintegrate, right? But is it dissolving? Good question. Okay. Yeah, honestly, don't worry about writing down the procedure, okay? 50 milliliters of water with the grass, and then I'm going to do the flower and the kale as well. While I'm doing this, your job might be to do a little bit of prediction and thinking about, will these 4 samples create a solution, a situation where there has been solute dissolved into our water and it cannot be separated out by a filter. And also, how else might we know that something is a solution, right? What did we do with our saltwater solutions or our citric acid solutions or our Epsom salt solutions to see if, there we go, to see if they are in fact solutions or not, right? What did we do? Here's a hint, we use a scale for it. Okay, here's 50 milliliters of water with our flour. Give it a shake. A lot of bubbles from all of my shaking, right? And we're starting to get something going on in there. Okay, we'll let that sit till Friday. Last, the kale. So start to think about our 4 things. Make a prediction for yourself. We've got grass, we've got wood, we've got a flower, and we've got kale. Which ones of these, if any, will create a solution? And which ones will not? Which one will be able to filter them out, filter out all the kale or the wood or the grass or the flower, and we're just left with that regular old water. Okay, so there's our kale mixed up there. All right, so now we have our 4, I'll hold them all up in front there, our 4 different mixtures, and on Friday we will determine whether they are solutions or not. So here are, let me go this way, there we go. Here are our 3 steps that we're going to follow. So we've done this one, we've done this one, and then on Friday we're going to see whether or not a solution has been created, and to think about which ones created a solution, which ones did not, and how will we know? What steps are we going to have to take to determine whether a solution has been made or not? These are your questions to think about for Friday. You don't have to answer them today because we are not going to actually investigate that today. That comes in part 2 on Friday. But just for today, okay, look at the exit ticket on Google Classroom and see, it asks you about what's the difference between a mixture and a solution. It asks you to think about, even if you're not going to do it because you don't have the materials or you just want to follow along with ours, think about what things could you put in a mixture with water. Okay, just kind of take a look outside and go, ooh, I could grab leaves off that tree. I could grab, I have a fire pit outside. Maybe I'm going to grab some ashes from the fire pit. See what happens, or some charcoal from a barbecue, right? See what happens, right? Maybe I'm going to get some soil or some sand or something like that, okay? And then it's going to ask you to think about, if I have a mixture like this, okay, what do I need to do to it in order to determine whether or not it is a solution? What tools am I going to have to use? What steps am I going to have to take to see what part of this is a solution and what part of it is just, material that was mixed and now is separated? All right. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Good luck, and we will see you. We have game time this afternoon, tacos. Otherwise, have a good rest of the day. Finish up all your work, and I will see you tomorrow.